what's up everybody? This is Perry with Premier Guitar here in Birmingham, talking to the guys from Jimmy Eat World. I'm very excited about this. This is awesome, man. I've been a huge fan for a long time, so I really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Thanks.
And we actually have a bunch of, I posted on Facebook earlier, we have a slew of cool questions, but I guess we'll probably start with the guitars. I know they have a signature, and that's your number one?
It kind of all starts with guitars, doesn't it?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. So Fender used to be kind of down the road from us in Arizona. They moved to California, but it used to be down the road from us, and had some buddies in town that worked for them, and I'd been playing a Telecaster every once in a while, but mainly I was playing Les Pauls.
Right.
My buddy was like, "Hey, we got this new model we're working on. You should check it out. You know, I think you might like it." And it was a model called the TA90, which is a double cutaway glued-on neck with P90s.
Cool.
And I was trying it, and I kept coming back with feedback for him, like, you know, it'd be rad if like the toggle switch was up here by the horn, and you know, it had separate, if it was like Les Paul set up for like tone and volume. He's like, why don't we just do a custom guitar then? I was like, okay, twist my arm.
Right.
And in working on it, we realized that they don't have, it fit what we were talking about doing. They didn't really have anything else that was doing that. So we just, they took it into production and it became my signature model.
How cool is that, man?
I know, the 8th grader kid in me, the 8th grader metal kid in me who, you know, collected Guitar World and Guitar for the Practicing Musician was just like,
mind blown.
Mind blown.
Totally.
So yeah, this is it. This is the JA90.
Look at that.
From Fender, which is my signature model.
Wow. That thing looks like a tuxedo. It's beautiful.
Yeah, this is a custom paint job I had for this tour. I wanted to do something different, but I mean, really, yeah, so it's Seymour Duncan P90s. And it's a Gibson scale neck.
Ah. So it's not the 25-inch like normal Fender scale.
Right.
Okay.
It's sort of like, it's kind of the hybrid between a Les Paul and a Telecaster, basically. Yeah, you know, separate volume tone.
Like a LP setup.
It's pretty simple. And my signature is back here.
So cool.
The only difference between this, what I play on stage, and what I've recorded the last maybe 2.5 albums with, is just from going to a music shop and buying one off the shelf, is basically I have 13 gauge strings.
Oh, you play heavy strings.
Yeah,
wow.
But everything else is exactly the same.
Copy that.
I know a lot of people have like signature models and they don't play it. It's just like kind of like a, you know.
But you could literally take one right off of the wall at Guitar Center.
If I put, well, you know, every piece of wood sounds a little bit different, but like in theory, I could just put 13s on something off the wall and it'd be exactly what I play.
Now 13s because you feel like it's like tonally better, or is it like you just have crazy monstrous hands, or like?
Yeah, I think tonally better. I think what got me into playing Telecasters as like a side thing from Les Pauls was I tried one that a buddy had set up with 12 gauge strings, and I was like, oh, I get it now.
Cool. Yeah.
It was sort of like, it just made the jangliness tougher, and I really liked how that sounded for some certain things, and now it's basically all I play.
Very cool. Like almost like you have to fight for it a little bit or something, or is it?
Yeah, a little bit. And I played a lot of acoustic guitar.
I was going to say,
so this kind of like,
an acoustic
it just
player?
feels like the same. It just, you know, I go back and forth, and it feels the same to me.
So, all right, next question. P90s. Why? How did you get turned on to P90s? Like
that was just what was in the earlier prototype model that I was trying, and I really liked that, so I wanted to keep that a similar thing.
Cool.
Because I think like just a little bit tougher than what the standard Telecaster configuration is like, but more open, more kind of open feeling, jangly and open feeling than what you know, like a Les Paul humbucker does.
Do you feel like it's like a little more oomph than a Telecaster single?
Yeah, and it's a little more oomph. Yeah, it's funny when you try to like verbalize these terms.
So weird.
Just, you know, it's a little more
this thing.
Yeah.
It's very cool. So is this your number one for this tour? This is the one.
Yeah, this is the one I've been playing as like the main guitar, and then I have a backup,
which is identical. Or?
Yeah, it's identical except it's just you know, a different finish.
Copy that. Gotcha.
This guy here, it was just like the natural one.
Oh, that's so cool looking.
It's pretty rad.
And why?
I'm pretty lucky.
Did the prototype, or the one that came before this, was it chambered as well, or is that something that you requested?
Yeah, it was a double cutaway chambered, and I just kind of kept the elements that I liked of it, and changed the ones that I thought would be more functional.
Sure, man, that's cool. It's very neat. That's awesome.
It's really like, you know, my concept was, what do you need, and what's just makes it more expensive.
Right.
You know, because I figured maybe this is, you know, it might not be anyone's first guitar, but it could definitely be someone's second guitar.
Right. It's like a player's guitar for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, not like binding and crazy stuff, but
Yeah.
it has kind of what you need. And then I guess you're playing a little acoustic as well.
Yeah. The acoustic guitars I play are by an Australian company named Linton.
Oh yeah. Tommy E, right? Tommy Emmanuel plays Linton, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, it's not, you don't see it very much in America, but some people are really into it. Their electric guitars are great too.
Oh, no kidding.
But I just
What is it about this that you'd prefer over like a Martin or?
the thing, I mean, this is a prototype that I found in their factory when we were on tour in Australia. Their factory is based out of Melbourne, and we went and visited it, and I just picked this thing up off the shelf, and it was like, oh. You know, I think like when electronics are built into a guitar, an acoustic, there's just something about it, it's not as cool. It doesn't sound as good. You know, the same model with electronics versus, you know, without, it just, to me, it doesn't sound the same, it doesn't feel the same. But this was like the first thing I picked up, and just naturally it sounded great, and it had electronics built into it. So I begged and pleaded with them for letting me take it.
That's awesome. So
And
is
it
this
still
just
has
a
like, I got
backup?
this, yeah, that's just a backup. I think this model is the 808.
Cool.
And it's a, you know, the, I guess, grand concert kind of style body. This wood is an indigenous to Australia wood called bunya.
Bunya. That's interesting.
Bunya.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of matons with like really strange wood selection, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Does it sound like, does it feel like a spruce top maybe, or like, does it?
Yeah, that might be the closest thing.
Cool. Man, that's
It's
a good
a little
looking guitar
bit-
as well.
I don't really know about what the bunya thing, what the density is compared to
Sure.
like other things, but it's comparable to like spruce top.
Cool. Same
thing.
kind of
Yeah.
response and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so I guess of these 4 Teles you have, this is what you're playing live, and they're all kind of
Yeah.
just about identical, right?
All the Teles I play are basic. I mean, it's all
That's
like
your sig,
my
yeah.
signature model, and they're just, you know, main guitar, backup. On a couple songs, we
Alternate
tune,
tuning, yeah.
we tune a half step down, so I have like a guitar and a backup for that.
It's so funny seeing this with a shorter scale length because it's almost like throwing me off a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, that was just like a holdover for me playing Gibsons for so long. It just felt right.
Was your first electric a Gibson or Gibson scaling?
Yeah.
at
The
least?
first real guitar I had was a Les Paul, a Les Paul Studio.
So that just kind of stuck with you. That
Yeah.
scaling. Yeah.
It just doesn't feel. I mean, I do play Fenders, like regular scale neck Fenders on occasion, but it just, I don't know. For the muscle memory wants it to be this size.
Gotcha. So in the past, I've seen you guys a number of times. I've seen you for, you know, as often as I could for the past 10 years. And you were playing AC30s in the past.
Yeah.
And I know that you've changed that a little bit, right?
Yeah, my whole philosophy on amps has been just simple. And for a long time, I was playing just, you know, guitar into the amp. That's it. And how I would structure dynamics would be I would set my neck pickup on like 2, and my bridge pickup on just full.
So clean.
Yeah, and I would use this to
Gotcha.
switch in between, like, that would be the clean versus saturated kind of sound. And I would just leave my amp on what sounded good for being loud and just switch with the pickup selector to get the different tones.
Sure.
And, you know, as I got more into making records and effects and stuff, I kind of built up a little pedal board. And then at some point, I just got sick of river dancing.
Totally. You got a lot going on
And-
because you're singing and
Yeah.
playing lead, so it must be.
Yeah, I got sick of river dancing and, you know, okay, no sound. Is it this cable? Is it this
Right.
cable? Is it this cable?
What the-
Is it this guy? You know, like, and then 10 minutes go by and like people are bored and, you know.
Totally, yeah.
So I went from nothing to a TC Electronics G-Force with a MIDI moose to control it. And that was great because like I sweat a lot And if I happen to mess up or destroy the thing on the ground, it's just like the controller. It's not the brains of it.
Right.
So I like that aspect of, just trying to like get the versatility of wanting to use multi effects, but also trying to keep it simple so that like functional, working. I'm not a big fan of stuff that just looks cool for the sake of it. I'd much rather have something that's going to work live and be, repeatable on a nightly basis.
So your approach is almost strictly pragmatic.
Yeah. I don't care about like how cool the amp grill looks on stage.
Totally.
I mean, that's great if you can get that, but it's got to be functional first and foremost.
Totally. Yeah. And so what are you guys using now?
Okay, I've kind of had to alter my keep things simple idea for a functional yet extremely versatile setup. So we're using the Fractal Axe effects.
Very cool. That kind of covers all your bases then, right?
Yeah.
And then within that, are you trying to model like something as close to your tone as before, or is this something like you kind of just got in there and dialed in something you liked?
Well, the whole story goes like this. We were making our last album, Integrity Blues, and Ken Andrews from Failure was mixing it. And I go over to his place where he was working, and he's like, "Hey man, check out my setup." And for Failure, they're using the Axe effects and the RJM foot controllers for all their things. And it just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's a lot of processing power,
I was like,
man.
whoa, okay, like, could we possibly do that? Because using, we want to make, we're not really at the, this might be shattering some myths out there, but we're not usually at like the arena level of demand.
Gotcha.
But we do like big shows, we do small shows. It just really depends. So, we want to try to make a great show in whatever room we're in, and that means like the trade-off has been like cases for amps versus like production for lights and things.
Right.
And so using the Axe effects lets us bring a lot more like production to make like an environment, to make like a mood of the club. I mean, you show up at these places and people have seen how many bands in this room,
right.
And we really wanted to do something with this tour especially that made it feel a lot more like our own space. And so that meant like
scaling back.
Yeah, production.
Yeah.
So
totally.
how can we cut room in the load for production? And it just kind of made sense that we have everybody on Axe effects and a couple backups, and that fits into I think like 4 Pelican cases.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a huge footprint.
Yeah.
And no cabs. You guys are all in-ears, right?
Yeah, no cabs and no cabs on stage. It's kind of wacky, I know, but I felt like, why put dummy cabs on stage?
Right. It's just extra room in the truck.
It's extra room, and really, like, I think the technology now, I think, is good enough to where it's negligible. Negligible? There we go. That's what I'm going to say.
Like the average person is not going to either notice the difference, especially in a live setting, right?
Yeah.
Like you might as well. That's really cool. Well, can we go and take a look at your RJM and see how you're controlling everything?
Yeah, sure.
All right, guys. Now, Jim has been kind enough to strap on a guitar to kind of demo some of these sounds, and we've got Tom to help us understand this, because we're running amplifiers as well, and the whole band is on Axe effects now, right?
Yeah.
And I think you were playing oranges, right?
Yep. Yeah, I was playing an orange Thunderbird 200 watt.
200 watt. And now you guys are Axe effects and controlling it with Masterminds, right?
Yes.
Cool. And what do you love about this as opposed to like any other controller? Is this just
it was kind of overwhelming at first when we made the commitment to run this way live. On a practical level, it wasn't all that different, because since about 2005 we've been having our mic'd up amps firing not downstage, but like either backward or like hidden, because we've been in a constant fight of getting more isolation on stage, especially for vocals. Like if you have a half stack firing at your back and you step out of the way, it's just like your vocal mic just gets all, amp.
Total bleed,
And
yeah.
they're just killing the kids up front who, they can't hear the show. They're just getting their face blown off, which is cool sometimes, but we like everybody to hear like a mix of what's going on. So the quiet stage wasn't really that big of a deal. But what was kind of a big deal was going back and getting what we want. I mean, you're really not limited by anything except your imagination with what sounds you want to get. So you got to go into it knowing what you want to have. And for us, that meant like really structuring things in a way that just made sense song by song.
Well, I think that's where we messed up.
In what and how?
Remember our distortion when we were trying to build different amps? I think we messed up by not just doing one main sound.
Well, we tried doing that for a couple things.
I think we started the other way,
We spent a lot of time tweaking on our own and then put it together and then had to kind of troubleshoot as we went.
It took a long time.
Figure out a workflow.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's you can get so ridiculously deep on the axe effects of like parameters and amp and cabinet and effects. You really, and it's not just me. It's like, how does my sound work with Tom's?
Sure.
How does our utility player Robin? It's and then the bass. It's like, you really got to work together and think about those elements too. And like stereo functions. If all of us are stereo, then kind of none of us are stereo. If we're just building like sweeping
Kind of a
things,
wash
and
of a-
in a live setting, you have, especially like on a festival setting, where your stacks of PA might be hundreds of feet apart. Kids over here, if you want them to hear wah 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 wah, you don't want them to hear womp womp womp, because it'll be that drastic if you're hard panning stuff and have stereo effects that way. So we had to kind of take that into consideration and build sounds that weren't crazy wide with their parameters. So yeah, we just went basically song by song with our regular parts that we played and tried to recreate them with the axe effects, like putting effects in line to duplicate that. And as we were working there, we discovered other ways you can, other ideas for things. I didn't know you could do this with it, so let's try it like that. And then it became kind of a chicken and the egg thing of like hunting and finding, and it took about a solid month and a half of every day. That was the job.
8 hours a day.
Almost 8 hours. Yeah.
It took us a while.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you love playing and messing around with sound, so it wasn't
Of course,
like it was
right.
work, but it just takes a long time. And to get that into a usable, a live setting, we chose the masterminds from RJM to control it all. This is an idea we took from Ken Andrews too, so I don't want to seem like I'm some badass that just
If
figured
you
this
guys
all
haven't
out on
seen
myself.
the Failure Rig Rundown, you might want to check that out because Ken is awesome.
Yeah,
and
Ken-
his approach
Ken-
to tone is very, very interesting.
He
for
deserves
sure.
credit for most of the things I'm saying right now, so I want to give a shout out to Ken. But yeah, so we have it structured to where every single song in our catalog has a preset built in on the axe effects, and every single song of ours has, that correlates to a preset on the RJM. So you can build a set list and just say, I want it to have, this song, this song, this song, this song, and it'll just come up with the parameters that you want song by song with the RJM. Like, I'm starting off with Bleed American here. This is like, so that's that. And, then I get to the lead section here, and I have it programmed in here like this. With RJMs, you can make any button do anything you want. And so we structured it like, like sections of the song. Like each button kind of, if there's a change that happens, that's reflected in switching one of the buttons down there. So you just kind of like work your way through the song.
So these buttons are per just Bleed American right now, right? Yeah. So when the
Yeah.
song changes, you'll have a different set.
Yeah.
Of
So
maybe
I
effects
get
or-
through. Yeah. So then
Okay.
it goes into I Will Steal You Back.
Well, dang, that really simplifies stuff for you, especially
and-
if you're singing. And
Yeah, so this is like, this button right here is the intro and verse bit for I Will Steal You Back, which is just like, you know. And it goes to the chorus, which is. And those, I have it set up so those are scenes
okay.
on the Axe effects. So this is scene 1, and the chorus would be scene 2. The lead would be scene 3. That's all I really need for that particular song. I
Sure.
mean, what we're doing is really scratching the tip of the iceberg with what both of these things are capable of. And then so, you know, I just go through the next song, and I've programmed these buttons to be the things I want. You know, this engages the tuner on the Axe effects and comes up there, so I
Handy.
can use
Yeah,
that.
totally.
Yeah, essential.
Then if Zach throws in a different song,
Yeah. So like,
Yeah, I guess that was going to be my next question is, do you have a static set list every single night? Is it the same set list? Or is
no, it
okay.
changes around, and we reprogram these things with the set list for everybody every night.
What's that take? How long does that
I think
take?
5 minutes. You
Oh,
plug
like nothing, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
you just plug like a USB into the RJMs and upload the set list that you
As
want.
long as it would take you to write it out or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
But I mean, I have like, so let's say that there's, these are all, this is a preset that is specific for like big casino. But say something goes haywire and we need to throw in a song that we weren't planning on doing, I can use this button here to go, which brings up an alternate set of yeah. So I click on my Swiss Army, which sends it to a different preset, which is basically like a normal amp. I got like a Marshall thing that I'm modeling, and these are set up to be like a foot pedal.
Sure, just like an effects pedal.
Yeah,
right?
I mean you can
Drive
set
delay,
this
yeah.
up so you can set this up so it's just, you know, brainless, and this turns on and off the drive. This turns on and off the delay, or I can have, you know, a bunch of stuff happening. And then, okay, we did that. I want to go back to the song I was on, Big Casino, and then we move to the next song, and
Boom,
you
right
know.
back in there.
yeah,
That's
it's
so
right
cool.
there. So it's pretty nuts.
Now, your first night on stage with these, was it freaky
Right
at all?
here.
Did it totally throw you off or what? I can't even imagine.
We did like a kind of warm up show for just like friends
Friends and
family,
stuff. That's
and
cool.
that was our trial run, and it seemed to work pretty well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
so far we haven't had anything go wrong with them.
Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had the power go off, but that would happen with amps.
Sure. So
Yeah.
are you guys using this as a volume or as some sort of controller for expression? You know, like-
Yeah, I mean, you can do. I mean, like I said, you know, it's a pure expression pedal. You can have it be a wah
Instead
or
of
a
any kind
volume.
of parameter.
You can have
Yeah.
it control a particular parameter.
Can you change it per song?
Yeah, yeah, it
That's
can
so
be
cool.
anything you want for any song, or like, yeah, I think even within scenes on the Axe effects, you can have it do different things, and you can set up the RGM like buttons to do that. Like, you know, if I'm switching for like If You Don't, which is one of our Bleed American songs, I have like the intro bit. And on the record, it does like a filter sweep that goes from high to low, and I have a one of these buttons here that's programmed to disengage that. So yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I mean, like going up to,
Just don't hit that, Jim.
yeah, don't,
Satan
watch
button?
out. Yeah, don't hit.
Is that super high
You
gain
gotta
or
you gotta
something?
mean it if you're hitting the Satan button.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So yeah, for this song, you know, my main tone is just like a clean thing. But there's a section of the song where it goes from very pretty to all hell breaking loose. And I have that set up on the expression pedal here to control the
So you can
control the parameter of it.
dial
So
it a little. Very
Yeah.
cool. Man, that's so fun.
yeah, I mean, it's really just days of endless fun.
Yeah.
Every day we're still
Learning something new.
Yeah, coming up on stage and messing with our sound.
Have you guys had much time practicing or writing since you had this rig?
Not really. I mean, we got it up and running, and then just started on this tour, and we've been.
The reason I ask is I
Yeah.
imagine that it could be like a super inspiring. I mean, I think good gear should be inspiring. I mean, when you play a great guitar, it should inspire
Yeah.
some stuff, you know. And this obviously, it's almost like an endless palette. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. You pick up a new bit of gear and you write a song because like you're messing around with it. But yeah, I mean, you can. It's really limitless.
Cool. And are you guys modeling different amps, or like, were you going for something that was kind of like your Orange, or?
We started out going like one for one with what our real amp collection was like, and after learning things about like what sounds you might like, you start just going for other things too. You
Sure.
start exploring, you know.
Of course, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I found that like switching out the cabinets on the Axe effects is almost as a big difference as switching out the amps.
Amps, wow, no kidding. It's the cabinet simulation.
Yeah.
It has obviously lots of different options and speaker configurations, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. How neat, man. That's so cool. Well, guys, I really, really appreciate this. Jim, thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to go talk to Tom about guitars over here and going to have a good time at the show. I really appreciate it. All right, Tom, thanks for talking Axe effects and all this fun geek stuff with me. And
No problem.
Now we're here at your guitars, and it looks like you're playing a lot of Gibby stuff here. Yeah.
Yep. This is kind of the main guitar that I use. This is a '93 Gibson SG. First guitar that I actually started playing when we started hitting the road, but this isn't the actual guitar. The one broke, but
Was it also like a '93? Like something
yeah,
you
it was
got
a
back then?
'93.
Sure,
yeah, so I tried to just kind of get the same guitar, but it doesn't sound the same.
Totally.
But it's,
Now-
it's still good.
Is this Gibson stuff intentional? So you guys have like a bit of a difference in sound?
No, I mean, yeah, different
Sure,
in sound, different, sounds that we're going for. But yeah.
Yeah, cool. And is this stock? I mean, did
Yeah,
you change
this
the
one's
pickups or anything?
Yeah, this one's stock. This guy though,
Yeah.
this is my other guitar. This is tuned to C sharp, and this is a Gibson Challenger.
That is very cool. I've never actually seen one of these. That's so neat.
Yeah, it's something that I saw on eBay, and I didn't play it. And
What year is it?
it's '83.
The checking is awesome. I don't know if the camera can see that. I'll try to get a good picture for you guys.
But this is something I did kind of rig up. I put some Gibson Burstbucker Pro
Oh,
pickups in here. I still have the other pickups somewhere.
what do you love about the Burstbucker in that? That is.
I just like, it just has a really full tone, and with Jim and I, with our playing styles, like I'm kind of doing more of like the rhythm stuff.
Sure.
So I'm
want a
looking
little bit-
for, like a fuller, like beefier sound.
Sure.
And so
So this Challenger, I mean, obviously aesthetically looks really close to a Les Paul. Is there a huge difference? Do you feel like there's a difference? I mean, it looks a little skinnier.
You know what, when I was doing research about this, I guess it's old parts from Gibson that they would throw together to make these cheap guitars.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, it sounds just as good as this guy right here. I don't really know what it
That's so
is,
cool.
but yeah, it's an awesome guitar.
Yeah, man.
Just for being like a thrown together spare parts
kind
at
of
the
a parts guitar, yeah, really like a bolt on and stuff, right? Is it? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy. That's I've heard of them, but that's the first time I've seen one. How neat.
And they're cheap, yeah, like
what did you pay for that, if you don't mind me asking?
$300.
Get out,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, and my guitar tech was just looking at them and saw one for $500. But, so yeah, they're just little cheapy guitars that.
Do you guys find yourself doing that, like checking the Craigslist and the towns that you play for gear?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Going to music stores and then.
Black Les Paul.
Yeah, this is a '76 Les Paul. Yeah, and this is kind of the backbreaker guitar that I have.
It's beautiful.
And this is what I use mainly in the studio too.
No kidding, yeah. So I'm guessing you're not doing a whole lot of switching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you
I
just
I
like
just
leave it on.
Yeah,
That's
because
awesome. And is this stock?
I'm
Did you,
really clumsy and I tend to hit the
dude,
pickup.
that's the every Les Paul style guitar I have to tape it because
Yeah,
I will
all right.
jump around and
I
hit
thought
it.
it was
like,
just me.
No. And is this all stock? Did you change pickups?
Yeah,
or anything?
this is all stock. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Where did you find it? Is this something you found on like eBay or something?
eBay.
No kidding. Whew. Is that scary?
It's
never,
kinda scary.
never having played the guitar and then
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Like
especially something like this.
I've gotten kind of lucky, you know, buying these, but
That's
I've had a
awesome.
couple that have been pretty bad too.
It happens. I guess that's
Yeah.
kind of the
Yeah.
risk you run there. What is this, like a
And-
TV yellow, or is the light just weird in here?
No, this is, yeah, it's a TV yellow. This is a special, also a 93. And this guitar, not this exact guitar, but we were recording Chase This Light with John Fields, the producer, and he had one of these, and it just sounded so good, and so I got one, but
Just like gotta have one.
but it doesn't sound like as good as
Is
that
it not
one.
even close?
It's not even close.
Is it pretty much the same specs? I mean, same
I
pickups.
think
and everything?
so, yeah. So it's just weird that, I guess, you know, I don't know what it is, but
How does it throw your ear at all, switching from humbuckers to P90s, or not at all?
it definitely sounds different, but it doesn't. Yeah, it's nothing that like.
All right, with the Axe effects, I've never played one live. Can you? Did the pickups have the same like response that they would through an amplifier, or is it a little less?
It's a little different. I think with the P90s, I'm usually turning the output a little bit higher
Sure.
to match the humbuckers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and this is tuned to open E.
Is that like a one song kind of guitar?
Wait, that one is, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's really cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so.
And then a little double cut action.
Yeah, and this one is, I think I got this in 2001.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so this is the backup, and I just like this because it's nice and light.
Light, sure,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, it also sounds really good. This sounds better than this guy.
All stock again.
Yep. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Man, that's an interesting setup. It's like all Teles over here, all
Yeah, and it's just-
Gibbies over here.
This is just what I started, you know, when we started touring and
I love
we
that you
started
still
playing out.
Still
yeah.
have it with you. That's
Yeah.
really cool. And then you were mentioning recording. I mean, you use the SG when you're recording, right?
The SG I don't really use that much. Like
Oh,
I'll
is it the
use
Challenger?
I'll use
Of course.
this is
Yeah.
like my main recording guitar that I use, but I mean also like just anything that's laying around, like, you know,
Try it out.
Fender,
Sure.
yeah.
Might sound good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, man, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for taking
you know,
the time to interview us.
Hey, we're fans. I'm sure, you know, if you're watching this, you're probably a fan. If not, definitely check out the new record and tune into Premier Guitar for more rig rundowns, you know, lessons, all kinds of fun stuff. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on PremierGuitar.com.